Hi, this is Ramesha with Vocal Bliss. Welcome. How do you enter the singing zone? This is a term that you hear a lot these days, and it has different meanings depending what you're talking about. But I want to talk about my personal experience with the singing zone in just one moment.
Dare to climb boldly, brave that high peak. You'll never know failure if bravely you seek.
I've been singing and teaching and performing now for about 25 years, and throughout this time I've developed more and more of a understanding of what really performing means. It's not just the fact of going up on a stage in front of people and singing. It's become more and more an experience of sharing and exchanging vibration between me and the audience. It's not something that you do alone. There's something that happens that allows you to really be inspiring as a singer, or not. It's just something that has to happen. First of all, I want to say that I am really, really grateful for having had the vocal training I had, because not only because of my voice being trained and developed and therefore hopefully sounding better than if it wasn't, but most especially because when I'm performing, I can actually afford to not think about the voice. The voice does the trick, does its job, and I don't have to worry about each note. I can just take that for granted, and I can put my mind and heart on what really matters when I'm singing, which is inspiration. I'm trying to convey a certain kind of feeling. I sing primarily spiritual music, which is what we do in the community where I live. It's a spiritual community based on meditation and spiritual teachings. And the founder of our community wrote about 400 pieces of music that we perform regularly, and that's pretty much all I do, just because it's really the most meaningful to me, and it really helps me to develop my connection with God and my spiritual life. But what I realize is that having this training that I had allows me to stand up there and really open my mouth, and the song is almost like it's sung through me. And I've talked about this many times, and I'll elaborate more on it later on. But what I want to say is, remember this: when you prepare for a performance, the time before the performance, that's when you really have to practice your song and make sure that you have your song really under your belt. So many times I hear singers and musicians in general who don't know how to practice, and they end up like, you know, oh, I'm practicing. They're just repeating the song over and over without really paying attention to the details and making sure that maybe those little bumpy spots get ironed out, and they just don't do that kind of work. And then all of a sudden they're on stage, and oh my God, all their mind and attention goes to, okay, now this note, it should be like this, and oh, here comes a high note and I have to know how to do it. That's not the time to do that. The time to do that is before your performance. And if you do that, your song is there. It's, let's say, in your throat. Your throat knows exactly what to do on each note. And then you can relax about it. And then you can really let that go and open up. And there comes a time after you do it for a while that you're really able to almost like enter another dimension. I don't really know how else to describe it, but it's this beautiful place where you almost feel like you're not even singing. The song is being sung through you, and there's just like a flow. It's like a river in flood that is coming through you, and it's going to the audience, and it's sharing deep joy and inspiration. You can feel it while it's happening, and you can tell that the audience is feeling it too. And I had this confirmed many times after a performance where I felt that really deeply, and afterwards people would just come up and say how touched they were. And so there is something to be said about, you know, there's a time to practice your technical stuff. That is part of the work that you have to do. We all have to do that. We all have to be prepared on what we sing. But then there's a time to clear your mind of all that, and really trusting your voice and knowing that the voice is going to do what you want it to do. But at the same time, there's a certain element of, you know, faith and openness. You know, you just have to open up and allow something to flow through you. And you have to have the intention of being a service to the people you're singing for. It doesn't just come automatically, but there has to be that intention of, I want to be a channel for these people. I want to convey inspiration and joy, and you want to feel it too. And it really becomes almost addictive, I would say, in a sense that you feel so nurtured by it that you'll want more of it. And then performing becomes a joy. You know, it used to be, I used to get very nervous before a performance. Now I'm looking forward to it. Every time I don't get nervous, and I just stand up there and I can't wait to just let this magic happen. And it does happen more and more as you do this. But it starts with doing the work to make this instrument really do what you want it to do. Pretty much what I mean is you have to master your voice and your instrument. And that comes from training, obviously. But once that it's done, my teacher used to say, learn the technique so you can forget about it. And this is what I'm talking about here. So I hope you found this helpful. And if you did, please consider giving this video a thumbs up, and also subscribe to my channel and ring the bell in order to get more notifications about more videos. See you next time. Bye.